Hey everybody, today we're going to be looking at deploying a Docker container inside of AWS. I'm going to be using AWS Cloud 9, which is run through EC2 on the back end. So if you want to access Cloud 9, you can just go to your management console and search for Cloud 9. I already got mine spun up, so we're going to go ahead and jump in there. So we're just going to go through some of these files real quick and see what they're doing. This first one is the actual app that we're deploying. And it's really basic. All it's doing is just printing hello world to the console every time it's run. So basically as basic as you can get for that. Then we move on to this Docker file. This is building the Docker container, and it's telling it to use the Python 373 container that's already on Docker Hub. So just using that for our environment, setting our working directory and just copying files and then doing some pip install for Python. Makefile, it's setting up a virtual environment for us, installing the needed libraries that we're doing, and then lint is just checking for syntax and errors in our code, so it does that automatically. Get back to this push Docker here in a second. README, that's just your markdown so you can describe your project. Requirements.txt, those are going to be the files that the libraries that we're using in Python. All right, now back up here to this push Docker. So what this does is basically automates the pushing of our Docker container to Docker Hub. So every time we want to do that, we can just run this and it will automatically do that. It's setting our path. So this is going to be my Docker account, and this is going to be the repo that it's pushing to. I already have my credentials set up, so it just pulls those in a hidden directory, and then it just tags it as the app, which is what I'm calling it, and pushes it. So yeah, that's basically it on the setup side. So we can go ahead and look at it and see what it's doing when we run this file. So as I said, the app.py, that's what's going to be actually doing something. It's our application. So whenever we run that, it just prints hello world to the console. That's exactly what it's doing right there. So I can show you how to actually push something to a Docker container. So we can go ahead and, I'm not going to actually run these because I've already ran them, but I'll show you the code for it. You can do docker run it and then app bash, and that builds our Docker container. That stores it like locally on the machine that we're using. And then whenever we are wanting to actually deploy that to Docker Hub, we can just run that push docker.sh, and that will push it to our Docker Hub. And if you want to see what that looks like, we can jump over here in my Docker Hub, and it's just username/repo. So yeah, it's pretty much like GitHub except just for Docker containers. All right, so we got all that set up. We got it pushed to our Docker Hub. Now what do we do with it? So the good thing about Docker and the main purpose of it is that you can just take that container and run it anywhere you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into EC2, or I'm sorry, Cloud 9, set up another environment that isn't exposed to this at all, and then pull that Docker repo down and run it. So we're going to go ahead and create an environment, Docker Hub demo, pulling. There we go. Next step. All right, because I'm cheap, I'm going to go with this free tier eligible right here. The new instance of EC2, Amazon Linux, looks good. No additional things here, so create environment, and it will take a minute to set up. All right, the Cloud 9 environment is now spun up, so I'm going to go over here to my Docker Hub again, go to the public view, grab this Docker pull command, go ahead and grab that guy, just paste it in over here and run that, see if we can get this to pull in. And from where I'm using the free tier, this is going to run a little bit slower because it's not using as much compute as some of the other ones are. All right, great, that's downloaded. Let's see if we can do that. Oops. Got what that command is. I think it's this. Oh, not showing any containers there. Interesting. All right, third time's the charm. Let's try this one. There we go. All right, so we can see that we grabbed it, the dcham16/app. So let's go ahead and see if we can get that to run. Let's do docker run -it cham16/app dash. Great, so now we're in that. So /app.py. Perfect, there we go. We went through building a Docker container on one instance, pushing it up to the Docker hub, and then pulling it back down into another instance on EC2 and running that container. So great. I'm glad that worked. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Enjoy.